Hello, parents and students. Welcome to Back to School Night. Tonight, I decided to record you guys a video instead of talking to you live. Now, the main reason I want to do this, my students are very familiar with my videos, as I have over 60 of them recorded for biology. Very rarely do I actually stand in front of my students and talk for long periods of time. They do the majority of their learning, their lectures, through videos, and we'll get into that later. But welcome, and I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so why did a few years ago I decide to start using video lectures instead of live in-person lectures? Well, there's several reasons. Number one, students are able to work at their own pace. So some lectures can last 20, 30, even 40 minutes. Many students and many adults, for that matter, can't sit still for that long of time. So with video lectures, they're able to pause me at any time they want, talk with their friends, and then resume the lecture at their own convenience. Number two, students can rewatch parts of lectures they didn't understand. Now, they could ask me to repeat things during a lecture, but it's much easier for them to do that on their own Chromebooks. Number three, I can embed questions into my lecture that pop up periodically. That causes the students to be able to, it forces them to either take notes or at least pay attention during the lecture if they want to get points for that assignment. Number four, it enables me to move around the classroom and help students with things that they don't understand. Where if I'm standing in the front and I'm dominating the conversation, I'm not as able to help students as much. Number five, students who miss class for illness or sports or for whatever reason, it helps them to not fall behind in class because they can watch their lectures anywhere. And number six, English language learners sometimes require me to slow down. And with the videos, they're able to slow down or rewind and translate the material into their native language so they can understand it. Okay, now we're going to briefly go over a couple of the key points of the syllabus. At the top, you can see my phone number and email address. Feel free to email me at any time. If I don't get back to you within 24 hours, it probably means that it went into my spam folder. So you might want to try giving me a phone call. Anyways, I'm going to skip the description and the required classroom materials. The only materials my students really need is their Chromebook every single day and their charger as well. We're going to go to grading. And the main thing I want to illustrate there is at the very bottom in italics. If a student is within 2% of a higher letter grade, his or her grade will be bumped up if he or she shows good work habits and citizenship during the class. If that is demonstrated, I will bump up their grade to the next higher grade if they're within 2 percentage points. So if they have a 58%, which would normally be an F, if they worked hard and they showed good citizenship, I will bump that up to a 60. Same thing with a 68, 78, or 88. Another thing, grade breakdown, just below me. Exams are worth 40% of our grade in biology. That does not matter whether you're in my biology class or any of the other biology teachers here at Western, it's all 40% of the grade. So you will have to perform fairly well on exams in order to get the grade you want. Quizzes are worth 20%, labs and projects are 25%, and classwork/homework is 15%. Last thing I want you to see on this little thing is late work. As a general rule, late work is not tolerated. Assignments that are 1 day late can be penalized. In my class, it's only 10% per day. In some other teachers' classes, they do mark it off 50% per day. Now, we will accept late assignments during that unit. So right now in biology, we're coming up to the end of a unit. We will have our first major exam next week. So after next week, I will not be able to accept any more late assignments once we take our exam. Okay, turning the syllabus over to the back side, and we're going to look at the top where it says extra credit. Now you can get a lot of extra credit in my class. So you can get it through turning in exceptional work, which is better than the average student turns in. You can also get extra credit in my class for turning in work early. However, when it comes close to the end of the grading period, no biology teachers at Tulare Western can give extra credit assignments or projects and for the sole purpose of raising their grade. And that is just a school-wide policy when it comes to biology. It's to keep it equal, for all students that take different teachers across the campus. Now we're going to skip all the way down to student expectations. We're going to go down to technology. And this is where the first thing is when it comes to cell phones. I'm pretty lenient when it comes to cell phones. Students are allowed to send a quick text or maybe look, research something on their phone. But if they're playing games or if the phone becomes an issue where it's becoming distracting, that's where I'll have to take it away. Usually I give it back at the end of class. If I don't, if it's an everyday thing, I have to take it to the office, and then a parent or guardian needs to come and pick it up. Now, I hate to do this because it's an inconvenience to the parent or guardian, but sometimes it's just required to do if the phone gets out of control. Also, almost all of my tests are taken on the computer. So while you're testing, no other websites or apps may be open during the entire testing session. The reason for this is because if you have this thing called Google open, Google has the answer for pretty much anything. So even if students didn't study, if they're allowed to use Google during an exam using a computer, it pretty much guarantees them an instant A. But I am not testing to see what Google knows. I want to test to see what the student knows. So while we're testing on the computer, no other apps or websites may be open. And that is also going to be an automatic 0 if that happens. So hopefully that does not happen. All right, so what do I want to teach your son or daughter throughout this school year? Well, now, 1 through 3 can go in any particular order. So for this case, number 1, I put good work ethic. I believe if you have a good work ethic, no matter what field you go into, whether it's in college or go straight into the workforce, if you have a good, solid work ethic, you should be successful. Number 2, character and citizenship. This kind of goes with the first one. If you have good character and good citizenship, it'll lead you more to have a successful life than maybe getting an A in biology. Number 3, personal responsibility. This is where if a student is absent or doesn't understand something or has a question about his or her grade, I would like for the student to come up to me and ask me about it himself or herself. Now, parents, feel free to call me or email me at any time, but I would like the students to begin learning about personal responsibility, taking responsibility for their own actions. And last on this list is biology. Many of my students, and I'm going to say the vast majority of my students, are not going to be biologists or medical doctors or go into any kind of biology field. So the first 3 things on this list are much more important to me than number 4, biology. However, if you have a good work ethic and good character citizenship, the biology knowledge will follow. Okay, so hopefully you guys went through the Aries training earlier today, but I wanted to show this slide to you because every year in biology, we have over 40% of our students who receive D's or F's. And really, there's only one reason for it. Now, when you're looking at this slide, the red means the assignment was not turned in. White means it was turned in and graded. Green actually means you get extra credit. Now, this is an actual slide. Now, the names you cannot see, but this is one of my classes this year. And you can see the amount of missing assignments the students have. This is the only reason why freshman biology students get stuck in that D or F range. It's just the failure to complete and turn in assignments. Now, if you remember the previous slide where you saw quite a bit of red, this is the current grades for my honors class. You can't see their names, but you can see in the whole year, there's only been 1 missing assignment by my whole class. That is the only difference between honors biology students and regular biology students. For whatever reason it is, the honors students tend to turn in most or all of their work. And if your son or daughter completes all of their assignments, there's virtually no way that they're going to fail this year in biology.